my presentation today really try to highlight some our effort in the past a decade-long struggling, try to help the state to adopt and develop a better site and hazard mitigation policy. And here's my outline. First, I want to go back to a decade ago, some issue we are facing in Kentucky, and KGS have been called upon to try to address the issue. And the second, briefly to show you when we started this effort, first we need to understand what issue, how this issue, where is the issue coming from. So that's and really focus on the NEHR, National Earthquake Hazard Reduction Program. That's really kind of dictate the main policy development. And third, focus on highlight some of our effort. Again, this decade-long effort. And fourth, I want to show you some progress we're making. And it's very difficult, but we did make some progress. And the last was summary slide. So again, I always have this slide, but I know most of you already know the answer. But I always put on here. So again, where has the higher site design requirement in the continental U.S.? And most of you already know because I have presented so many times. And so in central U.S., really, if you look here in our backyard, and let me roll it up, compare here's central U.S., and here's California, Bay Area, San Francisco right here, here's Paducah. And if you look at the contour line here, this is designed basically the 0.2 second response acceleration we designed that. This is the NEHR 2009 and ASCE 710. So every time I show this map, everybody says, "Oh, is that true?" Or somebody says, "That's crazy." So everybody would say, "That's clear, it's not reasonable." So now that have implication for us. So here is some issue back to a decade ago, what we are facing, why the KGS have been called upon to try to address, help the state address the issue. So first, back to 2001, and DOE want to design a landfill in Paducah, get a different plan, but they was not able to get a permit from our state regulator and also federal EPA. The reason, again, their design at that point is 0.4G, but the new kind of regulation asks for 0.8G, double it. So actually, I opinion unofficially, that because I started work for KGS started July 1st. There was a meeting held in Frankfurt. Ed is here. Ed dragged me to the meeting. And I said, well, I cannot represent KGS. I can only to be a observer. So I kind of sit there watching the DOE and our state regulator they are fighting, almost fist fight over that. And second, this also is a big deal because at that time, year 2001, year 2002, Kentucky competing for the sensitive facility, try to replace that to get diffusion, that's a diffusion plan. So you're talking about $2 billion investment for Kentucky is a big deal. And more from governor's office to our new, that time's new president, Lee Top, also involved. So actually, Jim and John and me was actually that time is dean of engineering college at Tom Lester as call us to his office, try to say, well, there's some issue you guys need to help. And then residential code. Same time, the one day I know as they met, he was a state member of Congressman Woodfield and came to Jen's office one day. He said, hey, we need help. He personally wanted to build a just single 2-story family home in Paducah. And basically he found out, based on new Kentucky residential year 2000 code, you cannot do it. You had to hire a geotechnical engineer to do a foundation investigation, and you had to hire a structural engineer to do a structural design. So he just said, well, we need help. And then, also at the same time, AASHTO had new design guidelines for seismic in the AASHTO year 2000. And every state, the AASHTO, they're making this new the design, but every state had to take a vote. At that time, come to Kentucky and Tennessee, because in Western Kentucky and West Tennessee, it's very high. You already seen how high the number. And so actually, Kentucky DOT and the Tennessee DOT, they vetoed. So they never passed it. So so we're involved there. So that's kind of few highlight, this kind of problem we are facing in Kentucky back to decades ago. And so we kind of, the state asked us, say, what can we do? And so in order to start, what can we do? First, we need to understand what the issue, where is this issue coming from, how this policy, how this design standard being formed and developed and come from. So first thing first, we put together a workshop. This held, actually, the here in Lexington, that's in November 18, year 2002. So we actually invited everybody. So now let's take a look how this policy developed. If you look here first, USGS produced a hazard map. It's basically provide a sign. And then a group of engineers, seismologists, and other people, the so-called, actually under BSSC, the Building Seismic Safety Council. They put together a group of people and take the hazard map and combine with engineering, economic, safety consideration. They develop a recommendation. This is called NEHR recommendation. And then FEMA, the federal agency in charge of that and endorse this recommendation, now become and our federal agency, our state agency adopted become a policy. And after that, and then you see here from federal agency, our state agency, and also non-governmental organization also consider that document. So and then after that, you can see here, for example, how the Kentucky Residential Building Code and Building Code coming from is really, first, the International Building Code Council, that's not the governmental organization. They develop a building code. And then Kentucky Department of Housing, they take the document, consider it, and then maybe do some modification, adopt and become Kentucky building code. That's how things develop. And same thing, if you look at AASHTO, it's a federal highway administration they developed, and then work with Kentucky DOT and other state DOT, and then they adopt it and revise it and then develop it. So if you look here, is again, develop the policy here is very complicated, but you start from science, engineering, economic consideration, and really very complicated process. And the key thing here I want to kind of make it easier, again, this started from science, basically USGS put together as a map, and go through the process that become policy and implement. So this, in order to change, is down here. So changing the policy really is a mission possible or impossible. But when people contact Jen say, hey, Zhenming, we have to do it. So how can we do it? On top of that, again, NEHR is a federal big program. Every year spend $200 million. And involve 4 federal agencies. And also, you can think how many organizations involved. It's very, very difficult to change. But because we had to do something. Where we start? So first, again, policy start with science. So this first thing first, we need to do good science. Look into the map, doing research. And second is communication. We have to communicate. If we identify a problem, we need to communicate with all the stakeholders. So this where our effort. So here's some highlight our effort. First, when we start to look into science, to do earthquake-related research, first thing first, we need to collect data. So that's first thing first. We build our network. And John and I actually, we started putting additional network, particularly for the particular gap point. And second, we need to look into the USGS and how they make map, what data they use, what methodology they use, what program. And I will highlight, kind of only focus on the methodology, because every one item you can go in there for a talk can be hours on. And then, and also here, we're doing this active fall study. It started from master student, PhD student, assistant professor, associate professor, now full professor. So again, research is difficult. It takes time. And also earthquake, ground motion, attenuation, and side effect. And we have a poster, we have a business scholar from China bring the data and to look into so-called side effect. So I know this is kind of very technical. I went over there several times. A few people really look at that. Again, it's very, very technical. Doing the research and look is different. And the last one, we also produce our own map. What alternative, what recommendation we will make to the state people. So here's some highlight. It's the first thing first. And we had to fight through, we get the first money. John and I were sitting in the meeting, try to get money to do the network and also doing the study. And that time, the money actually is a state, from economic development, they are given to this organization, it's KRCE, now it's house, right, neighbor here. Originally we started in Murray State. And I know some of you still remember the first director, Dick Smith. First, they just reluctant to give us money. Second, as soon as we got money, they come tell us what we should do. Can we do that? So we had to fight through. And another thing, we had to do good job. Again, this is the unique facility called Central U.S. Seismic Observatory, we call QSO. And this in order to understand the hazard, you had to study how the ground motion affected by the surface. So you had to have facility. Again, you are talking about $1 million facility. And this is just one record. You can see how the data help you. You can see wave propagation from bedrock into the soil at different level go up. So give you the clear idea, the detailed picture, how this wave propagate. Without this facility, you can do model, how you prove it. And one thing I want to point out called side effect. This is a small earthquake, but you see here is the 1 unit, but up to here is 4 units. So that's, you can see how the ground shaking may be amplified. So with the other thing, we look into the UAG as hazard. So here, how UAG is putting together a map. First, we put together all the data, so collecting all the research, the seismic input, earth science data, and then they put all this data through the computer program, so-called PSHA. It basically is a computer model. And then it produces hazard map. Hazard map, hazard curve, and hazard map. How UAG produces it. The key thing is here. Again, you have good scientific data, and now you put in a computer model, get out. So if your computer model has a problem, so I spent a lot of time to look into the program. What is it? So what is it? It is basically a computer program doing a probability analysis. What the program really does just determine a probability. And this program is mathematically developed by Cornell back to long ago. It's in 1968. And again, if you talk about math, everybody says, wow, it's very difficult. To begin with, honestly speaking, I don't understand that. So actually, we had to spend $6,000. And I sit down many hours with our professor over statistic department. Finally, I understand a little bit. And what I find out, basically the math is not correct. So again, in the model, probability may equal frequency. And here, what I mean, probability and frequency here. Probability is no unit, but frequency has a unit of time. So if you put that equal, this is basically grade school math. You don't. So here's the original paper. You can see here, the bottom here is a probability. We set for the probability become time, a year. So what they tell you? So basically, its math is wrong. So now, if your math is wrong, it's model. So what result coming from there? It's clearly the result has not been communicated correctly and used correctly. So that's why I get so many trouble. And now you use same model. Again, you were talking about set already only about few years observation, right? So you put in a model, create something you see here now, is higher than anywhere in the continental US. That's exactly the model had done. So we also produce our map. This is called deterministic or scenario map. And communication. I can go there for a long time. Here's a few items again. To begin with, we contact by governor office, send our state and federal, the representative and senator, and all organization as a government agency from federal, state to county level, and for professional and non-governmental organizations. Again, you name it. And Jen and I have been in many meetings, and particularly many times we kind of is a minority in there. It's pretty tough, pretty tough. But Jen and I put together in 2002 to talk about issues. So if anybody interested in detailed stuff, there's a paper I can provide to you in summary what the research we've done, what the communication will be done, what issue. So the good thing is, after decades effort, I want to present to you effort here again. In terms of design, the final design has been done in 2011. 0.33 geological design. Everybody happy. Second one, the sanctuary facility. We cannot do anything with that. That decision has been over only a couple of years. And this issue, again, residential building code, we helped revise that in 2002. And then for the DOT, actually after years effort, now in Kentucky adopt our recommendations. So right now, all the bridge engineers use our map for design since year 2008. And also right now, pretty much the EEC, the Economic Energy Cabinet, and particularly solid waste division people, they love our map. And here, again, USGS, last year they released year 2014 map, and I want to kind of highlight here again, the Kentucky, Western Kentucky grade surface all lower, and kind of center around Paducah. So this amazing change. Change is coming. And there is very interesting change. 3 weeks ago, there's a meeting at this American Seismology Society of American. That's the meeting in Pasadena. I was attending the meeting, and USGS now may start to recognize there's a problem in understanding of their map. And second, here, good thing again, this map, Mark Peterson is current USGS mapping chief. He put together a special section to start rethinking PSHA. Rethinking. And also there's another section to start try to do an objective test. So I was invited by this group to give a talk. And my talk really focused on the math problem with this PSA problem. So here's my last slide. Sorry, it takes a little bit longer. Again, it's 12 years, more than a decade effort. It's kind of like take a little bit more time. So clearly we make some progress. So I cannot say mission accomplished, but I definitely can say mission possible. We can change certain things. Second one, clearly this case is such in several Kentucky Geological Survey and the KGS, we do play a good role in terms of help the state to develop better mitigation policy. But we have to do a good job providing unbiased scientific information. And through research and communication. Doing good research is not enough. We have to do better how to communicate our result to the stakeholder. The last one, earthquake hazard mitigation, is a good example, I think, to show how KGS role in the policy development. And the lesson learned here clearly is applicable to other areas in the South. Thank you.